Okay, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a fully responsive table in Figma using auto layouts. So as you can see, the table on the screen. So this table is very responsive because I built it with auto layouts, and I can adjust the width of each column just the way I like it, and any other column around it will respond to whichever column I'm adjusting. And they also respond based on the content inside the cell. So if I compress this, you can see it's going to truncate the text such that it will not show all of the text and hide some chunks of the text. So we're going to be creating this table in this video, and we are even going to make it a little bit better. So whether you're designing a dashboard, data heavy pages, or you just want to level up your UI skills, this particular one is for you. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Alright, so to create this table, we're going to start with the smallest part of the table. So as you all know, the table is made up of cells to columns or rows, then to form the table, the entire table. So what I mean is multiple cells, it starts from a cell, and multiple cells makes up a row or a column, and multiple columns or multiple rows makes up a table. So we're going to start from the basic, which is the cell. So we're going to start from the cell level. So we're going to create different versions of the cell. So we are going to have cells for the header. This header cell, you can see that the text is thicker, or the weight of the text is more than the weight of the text here. So the header, the body text, and we have icon. We have two icons here, and we can even have a checkbox here in case you are creating a table that you might want to be performing bulk actions on the table. So if you need to perform bulk actions, then it is very important that you include a checkbox on the table. And also you can also decide to include avatars, so you can include avatars with the name. So we're going to do that, and we're going to start from the component level. So I'm going to bring this one out because we're going to recreate this. We're going to recreate this. So I'll start with the text, right? So the text, this is the heading. So I'll just call this text heading. Then I'm going to create an auto layout with it, right? So when I apply auto layout, I can just call this cell. So this auto layout is going to have a padding of 10 pixels all round. So I can even decide to make this one 12 and make this one 10. So I'm going to convert this table to a component. So I'm going to increase the padding to 16 and change this one to 12, right? So I'm going to create a variant of this, right? And I'm going to call this one copy. So the copy is the body of the text. So I'm going to change the text here, right? So this is inter. I'm going to change it to semi-bold for heading, and the font size can be 12 depending on your preference, but I prefer 12 because sometimes when your table has a lot of data, you want the font size of the text to be smaller, right? So I'm going to expand this to match this, although it can be hog, right? So I'm going to expand this one instead, then drag this one and put it on the side here. So I'm just going to place it somewhere here. Then I'm going to make another version of this, and this one will be copy with icon, right? So this one will be copy with icon. So I'm going to get an icon and place it here. It doesn't matter, any icon works. So I'm going to just use let's say user icon, right? So I have my icon library in this file. That's why I can easily pick an icon. So you can get this icon library. So I'm going to link this file in the description in case you want to follow along and you don't want to miss anything out, you can use this, this file to follow along in the tutorial. So I'm going to reduce the size of this icon to 20 or maybe 16. Okay, let's leave it at 20. Then I'll cut it, Ctrl X, and I'll paste it in here. So I'm going to give it a padding of 12. I mean a space of 12. No, 12 might be too much. 8 is good enough. So I want to place this icon just before the text. So I want it to be icon and copy. So let's not forget to name the property. So we can just call this one type, right? So what is the type? This one is heading, and this is body, and this is icon plus body, or icon plus copy. So we can just call it copy. So let me call this one copy. So what I mean by copy here is the copy text, the text you want to put there. That's the copy, just like a placeholder. So I'm going to make another duplicate of this. Oh, that's a mistake. So I'm going to make another duplicate of this. So these are just more variants actually. So in this case, I'm going to have two icons, right? I'm going to have two icons. I'm just going to make a duplicate of this, and I'll delete this. So I'm going to change this icon to something else so that we just know that there are two different icons. So I can change it to this, right? So what I'm trying to do here is we can have double icon, we can even have triple icons, as the case may be. But let's not forget we need to have a variant that shows only one icon. So I'm going to make a duplicate of this, delete this, then call this one icon. Then I'm going to call this one double icon, right? So I'm also going to create the last one, which will be, oh, I think this is second to the last one, not the last one per se. So I'm going to create this one, which will be triple icon. So this is just to cover every possibility that I can think of right now, but there are more possibilities, you know. It's like an endless kind of list. So you just work with the ones you can remember at the moment you are creating the table. But as you move on, you might have to add more variants at this point. But for now, we are not adding any more variants. Okay, we are adding one more. Okay, let me call this one triple icons, double icons, plural. Okay, so the third one, the last one rather, is a copy icon. Well, we can use this instead of creating a new variant, because what I want to add is an avatar. But for the fact that we don't have the avatar as a component currently, it's going to be a bit difficult. So instead of adding a new variant, we are going to create an avatar, and we are going to turn it into a component so that I can easily swap it with this one. So you understand what I'm talking about soon enough. So let's create a avatar, or an avatar rather. So I'm going to bring out a frame, and I'm going to give it 20 by 20. I'm going to round the corners, and I'm going to fill it with an image. Yeah, so I'll fill it with an image, and that image will be our avatar. So we can call this avatar. So this will be the avatar, and I'm going to turn this into a component. So once we turn this into a component, we don't have to worry about this anymore, because this will just serve the purpose. So why I made the size of this 20 by 20 is because I use the same measurement for the icon. The icon is 20 by 20, so that's why I'm making the avatar 20 by 20. Right, so I think our cell is good enough. So let's go and create, but let's not call this cell, let's call this item, right? Because these are items inside the cell. So the cell itself, we've not created it yet. So I'll call these items, right? Items. Then we will now come ahead and create our cell. So I'm going to bring out a copy of this. So just to show you that this works, we can easily switch it to whatever we like. Switch it to icon, switch it to double icon, switch it to icon plus copy, switch it to copy, switch it to heading, whichever one works, right? So I'm going to now create an auto layout around this one. So zero padding. So I'm going to call this one cell. This is what we call the cell, right? So I'm going to create an auto layout, a component with this one. So I'm going to create a variant too. So what we are trying to do here is that we're trying to make our table very dynamic. So we have this which we call style, right? The style of the cell. So should it have borders, should it have no border, right? So we'll call this first one none, and we'll call this second one bottom. So what I mean by bottom is that it will have a stroke at the bottom. So I'm going to add a stroke at the bottom, just the bottom, and I'm going to find a nice shade of color for this stroke. Let's see, I think this is good enough. Let me make my background very light. Yes. So, and we are going to also make another duplicate, which I'm going to call full, right? So it means if this is going to be full, there will be border all around. Although the border is not really going to go all around, it's just going to contain the right, the left, excluding the top. And you'll see why, because we really don't need it at the top. So that's why we are not going to have it at the top. So this is for our heading. I'm going to make the duplicate of these three, and I'm going to change what we have inside to body. So I'm going to change this to copy, not icon, copy. I made a mistake just now. So this is supposed to be copy, not icon. Then this is also supposed to be copy. This is also supposed to be copy, right? So for our heading, we want the heading to have a little bit of a fill, right? A shade that is a little bit off white. Okay, something like that. F5 is good. So we're going to also fill this with white, which is good enough. No, white, pure white, F. So this is good enough. So this is our header, or this is our table header, and this is the body, right? So, and this is full. So I didn't call this one full. So this is bottom, and this is bottom too. Let me change it to bottom here, and this one will be full, and this one will be none. So when I bring out this, I can easily switch it. Is there something wrong? So heading none. Okay, so I'm supposed to call this, I'm supposed to create a variant, another property, and call it variant, a new variant, I call it type, right? So this type will be heading, and this type will be body. Let's just call this one body. So we can even call this one just head, not heading. Call it head. Okay, so this is good enough. So now let me show you that example. Okay, before I do that, let me add a new property here, and show you nested instances. So yeah, so here I want to show you the icon plus copy, and how we are going to make the avatar work. So because we need to first create some properties here, which is the icon swap, right? So I'm going to I'm going to select all of this icon. Everywhere I find this, I'm going to create an instance swap for this icon. Create instance swap. So I'm going to call this one maybe icon 1, something like that. I'm just going to call it icon 1. I'm going to call this one icon 2. And I'm going to create an instance swap property to icon 2. Then I'm going to do for this as well. I'm going to call this icon 3. So let's assume I want to change this icon to avatar. I'm just going to type avatar here, and voila. Can you see? So that's what I mean. So I'm going to undo that action. Then we're going to use this to now create columns. So it depends on you now if you want to create your table with rows or columns. I usually use rows, but these days I've been more comfortable with columns, so I'm going to use column. So I'm just going to make 2 duplicates of this, and I'm going to put them both in auto layouts, right? And I'm going to reduce the padding to 8. Now let's say 4. So this one I'm going to call it just copy, right? And while I call it copy, I'm going to change the cell style to body. Wow, I misspelled the body. There's a spelling error there. Body. So that's the correct spelling. So this is the final component we're going to create. So the body, I'm going to make 3 duplicates. So I'm going to put all of the body inside an auto layout, and I'll call this one body, or I call it items inside the body, or I call it body cells. Anyone you prefer, body cell, and leave this one like this. So I'm just trying to separate the head from the body, so that if I want to adjust any spacing between the head and the body, I can easily do that. So I'm going to make sure the padding inside the body container is 0. Nope, not that. Yes, this one is 0. So I'm going to make like up to 5 or 7 duplicates, right? But I'm going to reveal just 3 or 4. I'm going to hide 3. I'm going to turn it off just manually like that. So I think maybe I should create more. 1, 2, 3. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 3. So we have 10 items inside this row, and I've hidden 3 out of them. So this is going to fill container. So let everything, make sure this is filling container, fill container, right? Then make sure this is filled container too, and this one can be a fixed width. So we don't even need to convert this into a component, right? Although we can do that if we want to make it more flexible, but for now we don't really need to do that. So I'm going to come back here. I'm just going to create a frame inside this page like this. So I'm going to call this frame section or container. Yeah, container. Then I'm going to bring this. I'm going to copy this. Okay, I'll call this column. My value just convert it to a component, So I'm going to copy this column, and I'll bring it inside this container, and I'll paste it right there. So the container, remember, it has to be auto layout, but currently it's a frame, so I just converted it to auto layout. So the padding, I like to put like 60 pixel padding and 0 at the top and bottom. Although depending, because on your page you're going to have like a page heading before you get to the table, so it's still understandable. So let this one stop here. So let's say I just want to add a page heading. I'm just going to copy this text, copy, and I'm going to paste it inside here. So I'm going to switch this to vertical direction and bring the column down. So I'm going to make sure this is aligned to the top. So let's set this to 20, right? So this text is semi-bold, but let's take it to like 32 or 24. The two seem too big, so I'll just call this users. So this is we're seeing this as the user page, right? So I'm going to increase the gap between these to 30 or more, or 40, or no, let's do 50. Yeah. So this is the column. Then we're just going to create an layout around it, which is pointing to the right direction. Then I'm going to click the column inside and make multiple duplicates of the column. Right. So depending on how many columns you need, it's up to you actually. Depending on how many columns you need. So inside this column, I'm just going to change the gap to 0. So let's not forget that this heading doesn't have to be icon plus copy. It can just be heading alone, right? It's not icon plus copy, it's just heading. So let it be heading, because the heading is most likely not going to have icons inside. So what are the columns I want to create? I want to create a name, maybe full name. I'll call it full name for this new one. Name, state, email, phone number. So I'm just going to come here and change the item name, state, email, phone number, what else, items, and we're going to have one that is blank, right? So I'm just going to delete what we have here and leave it blank. So that is the one that will be the last column. It doesn't have a header, but it is the actual column. You can as well call it actions too, but I just prefer to leave it blank. So you can call it action, actions. Yeah. Then I'm just going to delete every other column that we are not using for now. So I made too many duplicates. So you can see this is our table. So because we want this table to fill the entire space, so I'm just going to fill container. Then I'm going to come inside and select everything and fill container too, and that's it. That's how you are going to have our table. So now we have created a table. All you have to do now is to change the content inside, right? So I'm just going to copy the names here, and I'm going to add a surname to each of it, right? So but remember, this is before we proceed. I don't want this thing to be center aligned. I want it to be left aligned. So I'm going to come here and select this and align it to the left, and do this for the heading too. If I do this for everything inside this place, align them all to the left, So once I do that, this is what we have. So Chinedu Adams, so Ngozi. So I'm just going to copy. I'm going to speed up the video now. Okay, so I'm done with this rule. I'm not going to do the remaining columns, but I'm just going to use this. Okay, I'm going to do this last column, which is the actions, but I'm just going to use this rule to explain, to show you how we can add avatars to this. So I'm going to come into this, because there are multiple layers, so you have to double click till you are able to click the first one. So you can see this is copy, but if we do multiple, you can see there's copy here. If I do multiple selection, I won't be able to switch this to copy plus icon or icon plus copy. So I'm going to select everything, not everything though, just the ones that I can see now. I'm just going to select it one by one. Then I'm going to hit enter once. So once I select enter, then I'm selecting the item inside. Remember, we created item, then we created cell. So it was cell before, now I'm selecting item. So I'm going to click this and change it to icon plus copy, right? So as you can see, the copy is user, so I'm going to change it to avatar. And that's it. There you go, we have our avatar. So you can now change each pictures individually as you wish to change it. So whatever you like, you change it to. It doesn't really matter. Anything you change it to is okay. So I'm going to speed up the video again while I change all these avatars to custom images, right? All right. All right, so I'm done with the avatar. So I've added the avatar to the table. So as you can see, so if we want to change the state, we just change the copy. That's all we have to do. If we want to change the email, we change it. If we want to change the phone numbers, we fill it in, the items. So now to the actions. So if I want to change the action, remember the way I changed the name column to avatar plus name. The same thing I'm going to do here. So I'm going to select the cells one by one and hit the enter key once so that I can select the item. And I'm going to switch this to some might be triple icon, some might be double icon. It depends actually. So I'm going to change to double icon, and for the first icon I'm going to switch to edit. So that's what I want to have here. Do I have the edit? Okay, I can just use this, but this is not looking like the kind of edit I want. So let me check pen. Pen. I would like this out of change. I'm trying to see the naming convention of this icon library. Okay, let's just go with pen. Let's go with pen. So I think I like pen 2. Then for the second icon, I'm going to change it to delete. So just trash, right? So once I select trash, I have the icon. So if you like, you can switch it to 3 icons if you want to. You know, triple icon. Maybe you have something else you want to add to it. Maybe something like maybe close or maybe deactivate. Let me see. Cancel. Nope. Okay, so I've changed the third icon to this. So it depends on you. You might just want to use something. So the actual icon I was looking for is the one that has a circle with just one line, looking like stop, like maybe deactivate, something like that. So it depends on you. You know, if you want to add multiple actions, and if you even decide that you don't want to show the icons like this, you can also use 3 dots that will show more. Then when you click it, it opens a small drop down. So I'm going to drill in to switch it to just icon, and I'm going to change it to menu. I think menu, not this. Okay, something like this. Let me see if I can find the horizontal one. So where can I find the horizontal? Okay, see. So this is it. So I can decide to go with this one. So the only issue with this one is for it to look good, it has to be bold, not outlined. So if I switch it to bold, then we have what I want. Then you can use the drop down, you know, you can use drop down and you have it. So that's basically how you can create a table with auto layout. And if you check this table information, I can easily expand it, right, whichever way I like. You know, if I need more space in a particular cell and I want to expand the table, I can do that. Then let's get something straight before we close this video. So for your text to truncate, we have to come here, select this, the 3 copies. Okay, I think it's going to mostly happen for the body text, not the header. So let's click only the body. Then I'll click this. Then we'll come here to come and select truncate. So where do we have it? Truncate. So we have to select truncate text. So once you select that, even if you have a long text, so let's say for example I have a long email here, and I have excess space, you know. So after I've set this to truncate, I'm going to make sure the text is going to fill the container, right? So once I do that, it should truncate. So you can see now it's truncating. So if I want to reduce the width, you can see it's going to truncate the text just the way I want it. So that will be it. I hope this helps you. I hope you understand. And before we go, I can also make my table look a bit more better, you know, and just add like a rounded corner of 16 pixel and add a stroke to the outside. So the stroke will be on the outside, and I can use something like this. Then I'll clip it. so that I have my table looking like this. And also do not forget that all of our cells are bottom, right? So if we decide to change these cells to full, look at what it looks like here. So this is what you will have here, right? So we have to change the header to, if we want to have the fully line table, and if we want to change it to none, this is how the table looks like without those lines. So because it's yours, either you like it like this or with the lines, anyone you want. This is a very, very flexible table, flexible and dynamic table that you can use for multiple situations or multiple scenarios, as the case may be. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you are going to subscribe to my channel and share this video with someone that might need it. And also do not forget to like the video so that it can also be recommended to more people. So thanks for watching and thanks for supporting the channel. I will see you in the very next video.